He saw himself as a modern Sun King, a figure of unparalleled brilliance and power. The world in his mind revolved around him, a celestial body orbiting a star. Others were mere planets reflecting his light, their existence validated only through his recognition. This delusion, a potent cocktail of narcissism and insecurity, fueled his every move, his every word. It was a dangerous game he played, one where reality was malleable, and truth was whatever he declared it to be. His court, a motley crew of sycophants and opportunists, fed his ego with lavish praise and blind loyalty. They told him what he wanted to hear, mirroring back his distorted view of the world. Dissent was met with swift and brutal retribution, a public shaming that served as a warning to any who dared question the king. He thrived on this dynamic, the power to elevate and destroy with a whim. It was a heady drug, one that clouded his judgment and fueled his worst impulses. But behind the bravado, a flicker of doubt, a gnawing fear that the facade was crumbling, that the world was beginning to see through his charade. He clung tighter to his delusions, his voice growing louder, his pronouncements more outlandish. The loneliness of power, a suffocating weight he carried with him, a constant reminder of the chasm between his perception and reality. Manipulation was his art form, his words a weapon wielded with devastating precision. He understood the power of fear, of resentment, of the primal instincts that lurked beneath the surface of civility. He knew how to tap into these dark currents, to channel them to his advantage, to turn neighbor against neighbor, friend against friend. His rallies were masterclasses in demagoguery, a toxic brew of lies, half-truths, and thinly veiled threats. He painted himself as the victim, a righteous crusader battling against a corrupt establishment determined to silence him. He stoked the flames of grievance, feeding the anxieties of his followers, convincing them that he alone could restore their lost greatness. He offered simple solutions to complex problems, scapegoating minorities, immigrants, and anyone who dared challenge his authority. His promises were empty, his solutions unrealistic, but his words held a seductive power. He mastered the art of the dog whistle, using coded language to appeal to the darkest impulses of his base. He understood the power of repetition, hammering home his message until it became an inescapable truth. He surrounded himself with enablers, individuals willing to sacrifice their integrity for a taste of power, who echoed his lies and amplified his distortions. The Libertarian Party convention was his latest conquest, a stage where he could showcase his dominance, his ability to bend others to his will. He saw them as easy marks, a group of idealists ripe for the picking. He dangled the promise of power, whispering in their ears that together they could upend the established order and remake America in his image. He appealed to their libertarian instincts, their distrust of government overreach, their desire for individual liberty. He promised them influence, a seat at the table, a voice in shaping the future of the nation. But his promises were empty, his motives transactional. He had no intention of sharing power, of compromising his vision. He saw the libertarians as pawns in his game, tools to be used and discarded once they had served their purpose. He underestimated their resilience, their commitment to their principles, their refusal to be used as instruments of his ambition. He miscalculated, believing that his usual tactics, his bluster and braggadocio would be enough to sway them. He failed to grasp the depth of their convictions, their unwavering belief in individual liberty and limited government. His attempts at manipulation backfired, his words ringing hollow in the ears of those who saw through his charade.
Reign about partisanship by the political party has got to be ended. The founders were right as reign about partisanship. I believe that if our Speaker of the House and all committee chairpersons were required to drop out of their party and vow to run things strictly nonpartisan, it would go light years in solving the problem of hyperpartisan insanity. But how on earth do we get hyperpartisans to agree to enact nonpartisan measures? That question stumps me. The founders warned us about this in no uncertain terms: partisanship, Bipartisanship is not something to crow about either. Bipartisanship is still partisanship. The founders warned us about the dangers of partisanship. Now, after a long line of partisans, we have a hyper-partisan religious zealot who might try to steal an election. Why is it that nobody addresses the problem slapping us all in the face? Hyperpartisanship. If anyone is, I would like to know who. The hyperpartisan religious zealots aren't the only problem. We also have a hyperpartisan chairperson of the Judiciary Committee who hasn't even passed the bar exam and is in contempt of Congress. We have many hyperpartisan hacks as chairpersons.
They have turned the committee into a hyper-partisan circus filled with clownish buffoons asking questions born of Russian lies. Our government is in so much gridlock and danger to democracy because of hyper-partisanship we can't even help our friends in Ukraine fight off the Russian murderers. We all see what is going on, and the Republican hyper-partisans look the other way and act like nothing's going on, except for their lies and schemes. Now they are suspected of a plot to steal our government again. This is outrageous. The Republicans are so in love with their power-mongering, money-grubbing ways that they are willing to become thralls of the Russians, steal the government, and sell us all down the river of ruin. All of the people who used Russian lies need to be investigated. Investigate them all and bring the hammer down. Purge our government of all the election-denying, lying Russian stooges. We hear about these dangers to our democracy, but not much in the way of solutions, except for partisan solutions. They're not working. The partisan solutions will never work out. End the hyper-partisan insanity before it ends our democracy. Respect the founders' stark warnings about the ill effects of partisanship. Require the Speaker of the House and all committee chairpersons to drop out of their political affiliations and vow to conduct the business of the House in a strictly nonpartisan manner. This measure will fix the problem of partisan dysfunction.
Justice is our way. Justice will be had. Trump will pay. Council's advice denied. First time it's been seen. Case that shouldn't exist. Corruption in between. Trump's high pay council. Their advice he denied. First time it's been seen. Trump said another lie. He said Biden's rich, hot, lose mirror. Trump saying no crime to see him, but the bum is caught stealing. His legal path is to cause fear. Trump say kangaroo court jump high, but we know it's just a crooked lie. Liberty and justice is our way. Justice will be had. Trump will pay. When Trump gives a rant, Mark Garrett, judge with a conflicted mind. Justice, he just can't be had to. Trump say kangaroo court jump high, but we know it's just a crooked lie. Liberty and justice is our way. Justice will we have. Trump will pay. Trump will pay. Trump's will pay. Counsel the verify. First time it's been seen. Case that shouldn't exist. Corruption in between. Trump's high paid counsel. Their advice even I could
Picture this, Cancun, sunny beaches, Ted Cruz, fleeing Texas in the middle of a catastrophic winter storm that left millions without power. Oh, and did I mention he left his dog Snowflake behind? Tough look, Ted, but things got even worse when he got called out for it. And how did our brave senator respond? By blaming his daughters. My girl's asked to go on a trip with friends. Classic Ted, always willing to throw anyone, even his own kids, under the bus to save his own skin. This, my friends, is Ted Cruz in a nutshell. A man who prioritizes his political ambitions above all else, even basic human decency. When politicians like Ted Cruz allow themselves to be publicly humiliated and demeaned without any pushback, it sends a dangerous message. It normalizes this kind of behavior. It tells bullies that they can act with impunity. And it tells the American people that this is just how politics works. A nasty, brutish, and ultimately cowardly affair. But it doesn't have to be this way. There are politicians out there who understand that true leadership means standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult, even when it means risking your career. People like John McCain, who famously defended Barack Obama from racist attacks during the 2008 election, or Mitt Romney, who, despite facing intense pressure from his own party, refused to endorse Donald Trump in 2016. These are men of principle, men who understand that some things are bigger than politics. They understand that words have power, and that silence in the face of injustice is a form of complicity. Ted Cruz, on the other hand, seems content to be a political chameleon, changing his colors to suit the prevailing winds. He's willing to sacrifice his dignity, his integrity, and even his own family on the altar of political expediency. And that, my friends, is the mark of a truly small man. You might be thinking, John, isn't all fair in love and war and politics? Well, here's the thing. Politics shouldn't be a war. It's supposed to be about serving the people, representing their interests, and working together to solve problems. But when personal attacks become the norm, it's impossible to have a rational conversation about anything. It creates a climate of fear and distrust, where politicians are more concerned with scoring points and settling scores than they are with actually governing. And that's a recipe for disaster. Look, I get it. Politics is a tough business. It takes a thick skin to survive. But there's a difference between being tough and being cruel, between dishing it out and taking it, and between standing up for what's right and cowering in the face of injustice. Ted Cruz likes to style himself as a tough guy, a principled conservative, but his actions tell a different story. Let's talk about real courage. Remember when the late John Lewis, a man who endured actual beatings and jail time for his beliefs, stood up to the powerful? He didn't resort to insults or personal attacks. He met hatred with love, violence with peace, and injustice with unwavering conviction. Contrast that with Ted Cruz, who seems to crumble at the slightest hint of criticism, who hides behind his staff, his family, and even his dog when the going gets tough. It's not just about Ted Cruz, though. He's a symptom of a larger problem in our politics: the erosion of basic decency and respect, the normalization of personal attacks and character assassination. We've seen it time and time again, from both sides of the aisle. Politicians who are more interested in winning at all costs than they are in serving the people, who are willing to say or do anything to get ahead, even if it means sacrificing their integrity and the good of the country. So, what does it say about Ted Cruz that he's willing to tolerate such blatant disrespect? It says he's more concerned with holding on to power than he is with standing up for what's right. It says he lacks the backbone and the moral compass to be a true leader. Real leaders don't cower in the face of adversity. They don't compromise their values for political expediency. They stand up for what they believe in, even when it's unpopular, even when it's hard. They understand that true strength lies not in dishing out insults, but in rising above them. Ted Cruz may have won a few elections, he may have amassed a certain amount of power, but in the end, he'll be remembered as a cautionary tale. A man who chose ambition over integrity and who sacrificed his dignity on the altar of political expediency. And that, my friends, is the greatest insult of all.
Have you ever wondered why the political climate on Capitol Hill is so polarized? Why it seems that every issue is a battleground with no room for compromise? Why the nation's business often seems to take a back seat to partisan bickering? This story begins on a particularly stinky morning, one that had started with a skunk-sprayed dog and a grumpy mood, but ended in an epiphany. The realization that there is a solution, a way to bring about change and foster unity in the heart of our nation's politics. The answer lies in a revered figure from American history, a symbol of unity and nonpartisanship, George Washington. His leadership not only helped to shape the United States, but also serves as a beacon, illuminating a path towards a more cooperative and productive Congress. Imagine then a Congress where the speaker is nonpartisan, one who has not spent their life accumulating campaign funds or making threats to gain their position. Instead, this speaker would be one who demonstrates a reluctance to take on the role, symbolically dragged to the speaker's bench, having shed all political party ties. This isn't just a fanciful idea. It's a practical solution that would better serve the nation and make the lives of our Congress members more fulfilling. Many of them, frustrated and miserable in the current climate, didn't join Congress for the relentless partisan battles. They joined to serve the people, to find common ground, and to get things done. Stripped of the pressure and distractions of partisan allegiances, there would be time and space to focus on the real work at hand, to compromise, to work together, to foster unity, and to move the nation forward. So let this idea, born from a stinky morning and a respect for George Washington's nonpartisan leadership, be a beacon for a more unified, productive Congress. Let it inspire change and bring about a new era of cooperation and progress on Capitol Hill. In summary, the key points of this video are: the current political climate on Capitol Hill is polarized and unproductive. The idea of a nonpartisan speaker inspired by George Washington's leadership could be a solution to these issues. Such a speaker would not be tied to any political party and would focus on the business of the nation rather than partisan battles. This would allow Congress members to focus on their true purpose, finding common ground, compromising, and getting things done. Remember, every great journey begins with a single step. The first step towards a more unified, productive Congress could be as simple as a nonpartisan speaker.
Look around, folks. Our politics have become less about governing and more about winning. It's like a reality show where the loudest, most outrageous contestant gets the most airtime. We're so busy cheering for our team, we've forgotten the whole point of the game: to make our lives better. This isn't about red or blue anymore. It's about the purple we're all turning from, holding our breath, waiting for common sense to prevail. Remember when we used to debate ideas, not just hurl insults? Now it's all about who can throw the most mud, who can dig up the most dirt. We've turned our political system into a circus where the clowns are running the show and the audience is left wondering what the hell happened. This ain't the greatest show on earth, folks. It's the greatest threat to our democracy. Imagine George Washington at a political rally, rocking a Make America Great Again hat. Doesn't quite fit, does it? That's because the Founding Fathers, despite their many flaws, understood that blind partisanship was a recipe for disaster. They envisioned a government where ideas, not party lines, reigned supreme. They knew that a nation divided against itself couldn't stand, and they certainly didn't anticipate the political circus we see today. They believed in robust debate, in challenging ideas, in finding solutions that benefited the entire nation, not just one faction or party. They envisioned a system where elected officials would rise above party politics and prioritize the needs of the people. They understood that true leadership meant putting the country first, even if it meant going against your own party's interests. But somewhere along the way, we lost sight of that vision. We've allowed political parties to become more powerful than the people they're supposed to represent. We've become so entrenched in our own political tribes that we've forgotten what it means to be Americans first and partisans second. We've allowed our political system to become a game of winners and losers, where compromise is seen as weakness and bipartisanship is a dirty word. The Founding Fathers wouldn't recognize the political landscape we inhabit today. They'd be appalled by the level of animosity, the lack of civility, the sheer absurdity of it all. They'd shake their powdered wigs in disbelief and wonder how we managed to stray so far from their vision. It's time we stopped playing political games and started honouring their legacy by building a government that works for all Americans, not just those who wear the right colour tie. It's time for some real talk, folks. Our two-party system, the one with the donkey and the elephant, has become more like a wrestling match in a mud pit. We've got two sides, both covered in muck, slinging mud at each other and making a whole lot of noise, but not getting much done. It's entertaining, sure, but it's also incredibly unproductive and downright embarrassing. We've got folks on the left screaming about socialism, while those on the right shout about tyranny. Meanwhile, the average American is stuck in the middle, trying to dodge the mudslinging and figure out how to pay their bills. It's a political circus where the clowns are running the show, and the audience is left wondering, what the hell just happened? The truth is, both sides are guilty of playing this game. We've got politicians who care more about scoring points than solving problems, who'd rather tweet a snarky insult than sit down and find common ground. They're like kids in a sandbox, fighting over the same damn toys while the world burns around them. It's time to break free from this two-party trap. We need to stop treating politics like a team sport and start focusing on the issues that matter to all Americans. We need to demand more from our leaders, not just blind loyalty to a party, but a genuine commitment to serving the people. It's time to clean up this mud pit and start building a political system that works for everyone, not just the elephants and donkeys. So how do we fix this mess? Well, buckle up, folks, because I'm about to throw a radical idea your way: non-partisan leadership for key political positions. That's right, I'm talking about stripping away the party affiliations from some of the most powerful positions in government. Imagine a world where the Attorney General, the Supreme Court justices, even the Speaker of the House are bound by their oaths to the Constitution, not to a political party. Think about it. An Attorney General who's not beholden to a party agenda, who can pursue justice without fear or favour. A Supreme Court that interprets the law based on its merits, not on partisan leanings. A Speaker of the House who prioritizes the needs of the nation over the demands of their party. It sounds crazy, right? But maybe, just maybe, it's the kind of crazy we need right now. Now, I know what you're thinking. Trevor, you've lost it. That's never gonna happen. And you're probably right. The political establishment, the folks who benefit from the current system, they'll fight tooth and nail to keep their grip on power. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. We need to start demanding better from our leaders. We need to push for reforms that prioritize the people over the parties. This isn't about creating a utopia where everyone agrees all the time. It's about creating a system where disagreement is healthy, where debate is encouraged, where solutions are found through collaboration, not through partisan warfare. It's about building a government that's accountable to the people, not to the parties. It's about reclaiming our democracy from the grips of hyper-partisanship. We're at a crossroads, America. We can continue down this path of hyper-partisanship, where the loudest voices drown out reason, where political gamesmanship trumps progress, and where our democracy slowly crumbles under the weight of division. Or we can choose a different path. A path where we prioritize unity over division, where we demand more from our leaders, where we fight for a system that works for all Americans, not just the select few. The clock is ticking, folks. The longer we wait, the harder it will be to break free from this cycle of hyper-partisanship. We need to act now before it's too late, before our democracy becomes another casualty of our own making. We need to demand better from our leaders. We need to hold them accountable for their actions. And we need to push for reforms that prioritize the needs of the people over the interests of the parties. This isn't about being a Democrat or a Republican, it's about being an American. It's about remembering that we're all in this together, that we share a common destiny, and that our future depends on our ability to find common ground. It's about recognizing that our differences, while real, shouldn't define us, that our shared humanity should bind us together in a common purpose. It's time to rise above the partisan fray, to reject the politics of division, and to embrace a future where we work together to build a more perfect union. Our democracy depends on it.
The good old party turning sour in the sun. Not what it used to be, the damage has been done. Republicans hate on democracy, hating on everyone. Sour milk Republicans, the stench is in the air. They talk about freedom, but they don't care. They talk a good game, but under examination, it turns out lame. Sour milk Republicans, it's time to dump them out. The Republican Party, filling people without need to fight hard. Gotta break this worship of that phantom above heart. The good old party turning sour in the sun. They thought they had us fooled, they thought we would run. Sour milk Republicans, the stench is in the air. They talk about freedom, but they don't care. Republicans hating on democracy, hating on everyone. Time for retribution, punish every last one. Sour milk Republicans, it's time to dump them out. The Republican Party, filling people without need to fight hard. Gotta break this worship of that phantom above heart. Sour milk Republicans, it's time to dump them out. The Republican Party, filling people without need to fight hard. Gotta break this worship of that phantom above. Good old party turning sour in the sun. The fun it used to be, the damage has been done. Republicans hating on democracy, hating on everyone. Sour milk Republicans, the stench is in the air. Talk about freedom, but they don't care. Republicans hating on democracy, hating on everyone. Time for retribution, punish every last one. Sour milk Republicans, it's time to dump them out. Let me talk about freedom. tell me something now.
Integrity is the bedrock of public service. Elected officials are entrusted with immense power, shaping the lives of their constituents and the direction of the nation. This sacred duty demands unwavering honesty, sound judgment, and a commitment to serving the greater good. Integrity is not a mere virtue, but a cornerstone of effective governance. It ensures accountability, fosters trust, and strengthens the very fabric of our democracy. When individuals in positions of authority prioritize personal gain, spread misinformation, or engage in divisive rhetoric, they erode the public's faith in our institutions. Such actions undermine the principles of fairness, equality, and justice that underpin a thriving society. The consequences are far-reaching, impacting not only domestic policy, but also America's standing on the global stage. A nation divided against itself cannot stand, and a government riddled with scandal and incompetence risks losing the respect of its citizens and the world. Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Republican congresswoman from Georgia, has repeatedly demonstrated a blatant disregard for the principles of integrity and responsible governance. Her tenure has been marked by a series of controversial actions and inflammatory statements that have drawn widespread condemnation and undermined her role as an elected official. Greene has promoted baseless conspiracy theories, including the dangerous and unfounded QAnon ideology, which posits a deep state conspiracy against former President Donald Trump. Greene's rhetoric often veers into dangerous territory, stoking fear, division, and animosity among the American people. She has made incendiary remarks targeting Muslims, immigrants, and LGBTQ+ individuals, contributing to a climate of intolerance and prejudice. In one particularly egregious incident, Greene accosted David Hogg, a survivor of the Parkland school shooting, accusing him of being a crisis actor and harassing him on the streets of Washington, D.C. Such behavior is not only deeply disrespectful, but also indicative of a disturbing lack of empathy and understanding. Greene's actions extend beyond mere words. She has actively sought to undermine democratic processes, supporting efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election based on unfounded claims of widespread voter fraud. Her attempts to delegitimize the electoral process erode public trust in American democracy and contribute to the dangerous polarization that threatens the very fabric of our nation. Greene's conduct represents a clear and present danger to the integrity of our government and the well-being of our society. It is imperative that we hold her accountable for her actions and demand better from our elected officials. Marjorie Taylor Greene's divisive rhetoric and actions have far-reaching implications for the perception of American democracy both domestically and internationally. Her incendiary language and support for baseless conspiracy theories contribute to the erosion of public trust in government institutions and fuel the flames of political polarization. When elected officials embrace extremism and promote misinformation, they undermine the very foundations of a functioning democracy. Greene's behavior sends a dangerous message to the world about the state of American politics. It suggests that the United States, once a beacon of democracy and a model for other nations, is now susceptible to the same forces of division and disinformation that plague other parts of the globe. This perception weakens America's standing on the international stage and diminishes its ability to promote democratic values abroad. Moreover, Greene's actions serve to normalize extremist views and embolden those who seek to undermine democratic norms. Her presence in Congress provides a platform for hate speech and conspiracy theories, legitimizing these dangerous ideas in the eyes of her followers and contributing to a climate of fear and distrust. This normalization of extremism poses a significant threat to the future of American democracy as it erodes the shared values and principles that hold our nation together. Marjorie Taylor Greene's presence in Congress has had a tangible impact on American politics. contributing to a toxic and dysfunctional political environment. Her confrontational style and penchant for inflammatory rhetoric have exacerbated partisan divisions and hindered productive dialogue. Greene's actions often seem designed to provoke, rather than to engage in meaningful debate, creating a climate of animosity and gridlock. Her association with extremist ideologies such as QAnon has further poisoned the political discourse. These baseless conspiracy theories, often rooted in anti-Semitism and white supremacy, have no place in mainstream political discourse. By embracing such fringe beliefs, Greene legitimizes dangerous and harmful ideas, contributing to a climate of fear and suspicion. Furthermore, Greene's attempts to overturn the results of the 2020 election based on unfounded claims of voter fraud demonstrate a blatant disregard for democratic norms and the rule of law. Such actions erode public trust in the electoral process and undermine the legitimacy of American democracy. Greene's behavior sets a dangerous precedent, suggesting that losing candidates can simply reject election results they dislike, further fueling political instability and division. Marjorie Taylor Greene's actions have contributed to a growing sense of disillusionment and distrust among the American people. Her divisive rhetoric, support for baseless conspiracy theories, and attempts to undermine democratic processes erode faith in government institutions and the political system as a whole. When elected officials prioritize personal gain over the public good, embrace extremism, and engage in inflammatory behavior, they chip away at the foundations of our democracy. Greene's conduct reinforces the perception that politicians are out of touch with the needs of ordinary Americans and more interested in serving their own interests or those of special interest groups. This perception fuels cynicism and apathy, leading to decreased civic engagement and a sense of powerlessness among the electorate. The erosion of public trust has far-reaching consequences for the health of American democracy. It undermines the legitimacy of government institutions, hinders the ability of elected officials to effectively govern, and creates a fertile ground for extremism and political instability. When citizens lose faith in their government, they become more susceptible to misinformation, more likely to embrace radical ideologies, and less willing to participate in the democratic process. Rebuilding public trust requires a commitment to integrity, transparency, and accountability from our elected officials. In light of Marjorie Taylor Greene's controversial actions and the broader implications of her behavior, it is imperative that we demand responsible and dignified leadership in Congress. Elected officials have a moral and ethical obligation to serve the best interests of their constituents and to uphold the principles of integrity, accountability, and respect for democratic norms. This includes engaging in civil discourse, promoting unity rather than division, and upholding the rule of law. We must hold our elected officials to a higher standard, rejecting extremism, misinformation, and inflammatory rhetoric. It is time to reclaim the values of honesty, decency, and respect that have long been hallmarks of American democracy. We must demand leaders who prioritize the common good over personal gain, who seek to bridge divides rather than exploit them, and who are committed to upholding the Constitution and the rule of law. The future of American democracy hinges on our ability to elect leaders who embody these principles. We must reject the politics of division and embrace a vision of unity, shared purpose, and a commitment to the common good. Only then can we restore faith in our government and ensure a brighter future for all Americans.
Partisans on the left, partisans on the right, partisans on the House floor, ready for a fight. People didn't send them just to make a fuss. People send them there, and with them their trust. When anyone has a bill, one side of the other has a poison pill so they can smother. Partisanship, partisanship, ship of woe. Partisanship, partisanship, the founders told us no. But we're here anyway, this is dread, because we were made. wasted money, wasted time in fighting backbiters and lying. They had the handout to the highest bidder, but for the taxpayer it's a no-hitter. When anyone has a bill, one side of the other has a poison pill so they can smother. Partisanship, partisanship, ship of woe. Partisanship, partisanship, the founders told us no. But we're here anyway, this is drag, because we will pay. 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 This is drag, because we will pay.
Saw Trump fam on TV, they begging for some dough, but I ain't giving anything. Oh, hell no. Don Jr. on the screen looking all low, but I'm laughing at him at the truth show. They say they need the $5 bill, but I cut them off short cause I know the drill. I won't give, I want them to be defeated. Rather watch them lose it all, watch them be a beggar on the street. Hell no, I won't follow, can't you see? Won't give a damn, won't set them free. They can beg all they want, but I won't agree. I'm laughing at them, throw them in jail and not be free. Do you want golden shoes? Hell no, they give me the blues. If you don't like the shoes, how about a trading card? Hell no, out of my face, you bucket of law. Now it's Eric on the screen looking all low. A total has been, they say they need it. The fake billionaire, let them rot, I don't care. I won't give, I want them to be defeated. Rather watch them lose it all, watch them be a beggar on the street. Hell no, I won't follow, can't you see? Won't give a dime, won't set them free. They can beg all they want, but I won't agree. I'm laughing at them, throw them in jail and not be free. Do you want golden shoes? Hell no, they give me the blues. If you don't like the shoes, how about a trading card? Hell no, out of my face, you bucket of law. Now it's Eric on the screen looking all low. A total has been, they say they need it. The fake billionaire, let them rot, I don't care. I won't give, I want them to. Let them rock, I don't care, I won't give, I will live. If you don't like the shoes, how about a trading card? Hell no.
Is moving backward in time a game we can afford to lose? Imagine, if you will, a world where the clock spins in reverse, where every tick takes us not forward, but back toward a past fraught with peril and uncertainty. Journey with me through the corridors of time, back to when our ancestors were not the architects of civilization, but rather primitive apes. These early humans, our very distant relatives, were creatures of instinct, surviving in a world without the comforts or the complexities we know today. Their lives, though simpler, were a gauntlet of constant dangers, predators, diseases, and the relentless struggle for basic necessities. Scene script, fast forward to today, and behold the remarkable transformation. From crafting rudimentary tools in the wilderness to constructing sprawling cities and venturing into the cosmic ocean, humans have not just survived, they have thrived. This ascent from primitive origins to technological marvels is not just a testament to human ingenuity, but a clear indicator of what propels us forward: progress. Yet, there are whispers, seductive and misleading, that call for a return to those simpler times. These voices romanticize a past that was, in truth, brutal and short. They argue for a stripping back of knowledge, for a life unburdened by the complexities of modern existence. But to heed these calls is to dance dangerously close to the cliff's edge, beyond which lies the abyss of regression, of potential extinction. Consider the consequences of such a retreat. Every inch we concede in our quest for advancement is an inch closer to relinquishing all that our forebears fought so valiantly to achieve. It is a betrayal of the future generations who deserve to inherit not a diminished, but an enriched world. Humanity stands today on the precipice of greatness, not merely as residents of Earth, but as potential stewards of the cosmos. The challenges are gargantuan, overcoming our baser instincts, solving the riddles of sustainable living, and extending our reach to other planets. Yet history has shown that when humans commit, they achieve the extraordinary. Time, indeed, is of the essence, our window to cement ourselves as a multiplanetary species, to truly safeguard the future of human civilization, is narrowing. This is not the moment for complacency or nostalgic reveries. It is a time for bold, decisive action. So as we ponder the path ahead, let us choose not the comfort of familiar shadows, but the exhilarating uncertainty of progress. For in our hands lies not just the legacy of our species, but the very blueprint of our future. Let us then march forward, not back, propelled by the knowledge that in advancement lies our survival, our triumph, and our ultimate destiny as pioneers of the infinite.
Have you ever felt like each day slips away before you can truly enjoy it? Time, that relentless river, carries us further into the unknown, each morning presenting a blank page on which anything might appear. Some days it feels as if we're merely spectators in the grand theatre of the unpredictable. Consider the morning ritual of making coffee, a simple task, yet fraught with potential for chaos. Imagine the scene, the sun barely peeking over the horizon, the kitchen bathed in the soft glow of morning light, and then a crash. The coffee pot, a casualty of a sleepy misstep, lies in ruins on the floor. In that instant, the day presents its first challenge. Yet what does one do? With a sigh, perhaps a chuckle at one's own clumsiness, the mess gets cleaned up. Gloves come on and somehow coffee still brews, albeit with a bit more effort than usual. It's a small victory, a tiny triumph over the day's first curveball. And so the day unfolds, each hour laden with potential mishaps and mini-dramas. A missed bus here, a forgotten email there, the minutiae of life that test patience and resilience. But within these moments lie opportunities. The rush to catch another bus becomes a chance encounter with an old friend. The late email turns into a conversation that sparks a brilliant idea. Navigating through the day requires a blend of logic, reason, and a generous dash of emotion. It's about making decisions that shape the course of hours, turning what could be obstacles into stepping stones. As the sun sets, casting long shadows and painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, one reflects on the day. It wasn't perfect, far from it. Yet despite the broken coffee pots of life, there was laughter, learning, and maybe even a bit of unexpected joy. So embrace each new day, no matter what it brings. Whether it's Monday's blues or Friday's euphoria, each day holds a treasure trove of moments, waiting to be discovered and cherished. After all, when life hands you lemons, why not make a delightful lemonade? And who knows what tomorrow's challenges will be? Hopefully they are merely interesting, devoid of danger, and rich with potential. In the end, it's not just about surviving the day, but savoring it. Each and every precious moment. For these days, swift as they are the threads from which the tapestry of life is woven, vibrant and intricate. So here's to making the most of every day, come what may.
Situations change, circumstances rearrange, so don't dwell in sorrow. What you can't change today, you can change tomorrow. We can pound our heads against the wall, attempting to solve problems big and small. Time keeps passing as we try. Problems, frustration, it makes you cry. Don't give up, don't blame yourself. You are not a magic elf. What is impossible today, you solve tomorrow. These problems go away. Once can be erased. Power, searching for solution every single hour. But to do it well on things not so well, very well. Like the present inability hold us back every time you try and fail. You get closer to the day your heart will swell. Because you nailed it, oh, you nailed it. Stressing over what we can't control is a waste of our mind. It is beating up our soul. Don't dwell on the headache, don't dwell in defeat. Give it a rest, bro. Let someone else take the seat. Don't give up, don't blame yourself. You are not a magic elf. What is impossible today, you solve tomorrow. These problems go away. These problems go away. Once can be erased, problems go away. Once can be erased, problems go away. Cause nail and lay, don't dwell in defeat. Give it a rest, bro. Every time you dwell on things not so well, not very well. Don't let the present inability hold us back. Every time you try and fail, you get closer to the day your heart will swell. Oh yeah, 'cause you nailed it. Nailed it, bro. You nailed it. Stressing over what we can't control is a waste of our mind. It is beating up our soul. Don't dwell on the headache, don't dwell on the headache. Don't dwell in defeat. Give it a rest, bro. Let someone else take the seat. Inability hold us back. Every time you try and fail, you get closer to the day Front shits and pants, yeah, that's his name. Trump pants in a doggy. I feel like a dog, broke back and strange, struggling to take a dump, burst in a blood vein. That broke back dog, taking a dump on you, loses his balance, falling in the donkey poop, metaphorically speaking. All of this by his own hands, he falls back in the donkey poop, he made stupid plans. Broke back dog with a broken brain, struggling and striving to give us pain. A walking disaster, Teflon masters getting pretty thin. Just kidding. Like a dog, broke back and strange, struggling to take a dump, burst in a blood bag.
Broke back dog, taking a dump on you, loses his balance, falling in the doggy poo. Metaphorically speaking, all of this by his own hands. He falls back into doggy poo. It's stupid plans. Broke back dog with a broken brain, struggling, striving to give us pain. A walking disaster, Teflon master. It's getting pretty thin.
It's getting pretty.
Corruption at its peak, a nation's heartache. Trump was in power, a thirst he couldn't take. He had it all, but that ain't enough. Trump wanted our freedom, wanted to make it rough. He thought he could take our precious democracy, but we got something, we'll fight for liberty. We stand together, shoulder to shoulder, and without fear. No oppression, never voices loud and clear. We won't allow a dictator, instead his soul will sit. Revolution rising, we'll always be free. Together we stand, for justice we plead. No more corruption, no more deceit. We'll rise to the occasion, Trump will be defeated. In court, crashing down like a plane. Out of court, talking insane. Trump isn't going around much longer. Why? Because our people and justice are much stronger. We stand together, shoulder to shoulder, and without fear. No oppression, never voices loud and clear. We won't allow a dictator, instead his soul will sit. Revolution rising, we'll always be free. Together we stand, for justice we plead. No more corruption, no more deceit. We'll rise to the occasion, Trump will be defeated.
crashing down like a plane, out of court talking insane. Trump isn't coming around much longer. Why? Because our people and justice are much stronger. Corruption at its peak, a nation's heartache. Trump was in power, a thirst he couldn't fake. He had it all, but that ain't enough. Trump wanted our freedom, wanted to make it rough. He thought he could take our precious democracy, but we got something, we'll fight for liberty. We stand together, shoulder to shoulder and without fear. No oppression, every voice is loud and clear. We won't allow a dictator to stand his soul or here. Never know about corruption. No longer sleep, we'll rise to the occasion. Trump will be defeated.
No corruption, no more deceit. We'll rise to the occasion. Trump will be defeated. No more deceit. We'll rise to the occasion. Trump will be defeated.
Violence, insanity, waking up from your bed. Russian police spitting venom with their breath, sending Russian children to their sure death. Murderers on the loose, targeting the weak. Old ladies and children, victims they seek. Oh no, innocent shed, lives torn apart. But Ukraine ain't alone. They got friends, they got hearts. United we stand, hand in hand we won't fall. Together we rise, like a lion standing tall. We'll never surrender, Russia will fail. Our might will be Russia's ender. Whoa, war zone, danger zone, streets made to live. Violence, insanity, feeling Russian heads. Russian police beating venom with their breath, sending Russian children to their sure death. Murders on the loose, killing without a thought. Say what? Old ladies and children, they know they ought not. Innocent shattered, lives torn apart. But Ukraine ain't alone. United we stand, hand in hand we won't fall. Together we rise, like a lion standing tall. We'll never surrender. Russian bullies spitting venom with their breath. Fair Russian death. Russian bullies spitting venom with their breath. Sending Russian children to their assured death. Murderers on the loose, torn up like sword ball, Ukraine and lost. They got friends, they got home, they got paid and surrender. Russia will fail, our might will be Russian cinder. Whoa, war zone, danger zone, streets painted to red. Violence, insanity, feeling Russian heads. War zone, danger zone, streets painted to red. Violence, insanity, feeling Russian heads. Russian boys spitting venom with their breath. Sending Russian children to their assured death. Murderers on the loose, torn up like sword ball, Ukraine and lost. They got friends, they got home, they got paid and surrender. Russia will fail, our might will be Russian cinder. Whoa. Sending Russian children to their assured death. Sending Russian children to their assured death.
Have you ever questioned the real power of a humble garden? The roots of this power lie deep in the history of mankind, where food has often been wielded as a weapon against labor. The feudal era stands as a stark reminder of this power play. During those times, serfs were bound to the land, and the food they produced was largely controlled by their lords. The landlords dictated the terms, and the serfs, the labor, had little choice but to comply. Fast forward to the Industrial Revolution, and the exploitation of labor continued, with food still playing a central role. Laborers worked long hours in poor conditions, while the wealthy profiteers controlled the food supply. Again, food was the weapon, a tool used to keep the labor force in check. In the throes of the recent pandemic, this power play was witnessed once again. As corporations and politicians pushed labor to return to work amidst a virus-infected environment, the average citizen was left to grapple with dwindling food supplies. The echoes of history were clear, and yet no one talked about the potential power of planting food. So where does this leave us? The answer lies in the victory gardens. These are not just plots of land or pots of soil. They are symbols of resistance, of taking control, of ensuring food security. They are a way to challenge the status quo, to stop the intrusion into personal rights, and to bring divisive policies to their knees. However, to achieve this, preparation is key. Just as a soldier doesn't charge into battle without being ready, so too must labor prepare to take on the corporate giants. Planting victory gardens is the first step in this preparation. The power of labor is immense. When unified, labor can bring the economy to its knees, forcing corporations to beg for their return. The idea is not to destroy, but to negotiate better terms for labor. After all, even the corporate world knows that some profit is better than no profit. The essence of this video is to highlight the power of food as a weapon against labor, and how through collective action and the simple act of gardening, labor can reclaim its power. The time is now to plant a victory garden. It's a step towards freedom, a step towards a better future. Remember, even if you don't have a yard, a window box can be your victory garden. The goal is not just to grow food, but to grow unity, to grow resilience, and most importantly, to grow power. because when labor stands together, the echoes of history will not repeat. Instead, a new song will be sung, one of victory and of a labor force that refused to be silenced.
Have you ever stopped to wonder, when did the playground antics of us versus them seep into the hallowed halls of our nation's governance? Today, we delve into the murky waters of hyperpartisanship, a phenomenon that has increasingly gripped the political landscape of the United States. The seeds of this divisive trend can be traced back to the early years of the 21st century. But it was during the Obama era that the specter of hyperpartisanship began to loom large. A statement from John Boehner, who was poised to become the Speaker of the House in 2010, paints a stark picture of the emerging political climate. He pledged to do everything, and I mean everything we can do, to kill it, stop it, slow it down, whatever we can. The it he referred to was Obama's agenda. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell echoed this sentiment, stating that the single most important goal was to make Obama a one-term president. Fast forward to 2021, and the partisan divide has only deepened. The filibuster, a tool designed to protect minority interests, has become a weapon of partisan warfare. The GOP's filibuster of a bipartisan bill to investigate the Capitol attack on January 6th is a glaring example. The filibuster, rather than promoting bipartisanship, has served to feed the flames of partisanship, enabling lawmakers to signal support without taking action. The hyperpartisan divide has also infiltrated our response to the global pandemic. The divide between states with high COVID-19 cases, mostly those that voted for Trump and others, is a chilling testament to the politicization of a global health crisis. But it doesn't have to be this way. We, as a nation, need to rise above the pettiness of party politics and focus on what truly matters, the welfare of the people. Challenge your elected officials to engage in constructive political dialogue. Hold them accountable for their actions and demand more than just empty promises. Because at the end of the day, it's not about Democrats or Republicans, it's about us, the people. Let's strive for a future where the term hyperpartisanship becomes nothing more than a footnote in the annals of our political history.
Can a president, the leader of a nation, be above the law? A question that stirs the pot and initiates a heated debate about presidential immunity. Today, we delve into this topic, exploring the perspectives of both the right and the left, and the implications these views have on our society. Starting with the right, their argument rests on a rather intriguing premise. They claim that without presidential immunity, the next administration could potentially use legal proceedings as a weapon for revenge. Imagine, they say, a scenario where every change in government leads to a witch hunt, charging former leaders with crimes real or imagined, all in the name of settling political scores. It's a frightening picture, is it not? The potential for abuse is immense, turning the justice system into a tool for political vendettas. Yet, the left brings an equally compelling argument to the table. They fear that with presidential immunity, a leader could exploit this power for nefarious purposes. Imagine a president, they suggest, sending SEAL Team 6 to eliminate their political opponents, knowing they're untouchable by the law. It's a chilling prospect that takes us into the realm of autocracy, where a leader can act with impunity, undermining the very essence of democracy. These are two extreme scenarios, both alarming in their own right. The right warns of a justice system manipulated for political revenge, while the left cautions against a leader wielding unchecked power. But where does this leave us? What is the middle ground in this debate? The answer may lie in a balanced approach, a system that neither grants absolute immunity nor allows for unchecked prosecution. A president should be subject to the law like any other citizen, yet there should be safeguards in place to prevent political vendettas. It's a delicate balance to strike, but it's essential to ensure the integrity of our democratic system. So, what have we gleaned from this debate? The right cautions against a system without presidential immunity, warning of the potential for political revenge. The left, on the other hand, warns of the dangers of unchecked power should a president be granted absolute immunity. Neither side advocates for an absolute stance, recognizing the potential for abuse in both scenarios. The key takeaway here is the need for balance. A president, while holding the highest office in the land, should not be above the law. Yet, there must be safeguards to prevent the justice system from becoming a tool for political revenge. It's a complex issue, with no easy answers, but a debate that's crucial for the health of our democracy. And so we continue to grapple with the question, can a president be above the law? It's a topic that stirs passions on both sides, a debate that's far from over. But one thing is clear: the quest for balance, for fairness, and for justice continues.
Can political loyalty truly blind us to the point of distorting our perception of reality? This is a question that has been thrust into the spotlight as we observe the curious case of Bill Barr, a man whose political gymnastics in support of Trump and denouncement of Biden is nothing short of astounding. Now, on one hand, we have those who see Barr's actions as a testament to his unwavering loyalty. They argue that his efforts to paint Biden as a destroyer of democracy and freedom using the classic socialist boogeyman narrative is a necessary counterbalance to the left-leaning tendencies of the media. They see Barr as a champion of the right, a bulwark against what they perceive as the encroachment of socialism on American values and institutions. Yet, on the other hand, we have those who view Barr's actions as nothing more than political posturing. They see his demonization of Biden and the left as an absurd attempt to distract from what they believe are the true threats to democracy, namely those posed by Trump and his allies. They argue that the narrative of leftists trying to destroy the nation is, at best, trite and, at worst, dangerously misleading. The accusations of leftists being the root cause of our nation's problems remind some of the tactics employed by Russia. Accusing the left of all sorts of misdeeds, they argue, is no different than Putin blaming Nazis for the violence in Ukraine. The majority of our people, they believe, do not buy into the right-wing extremist rhetoric. So, where does this leave us? In a world of political gymnastics, where loyalty can lead to mental contortions, and the truth is often a casualty of partisan warfare. In conclusion, the narrative of Bill Barr's political gymnastics serves as a stark reminder of the divisiveness that characterizes our current political landscape. It highlights the lengths to which individuals will go to defend their political allies and demonize their opponents. It raises questions about the dangers of blind loyalty and the need for critical thinking in the face of misleading narratives. And most importantly, it underscores the importance of maintaining a balanced and objective view in the midst of heated political debates.
The endless expanse where darkness dwells, living on hell planet where chaos swells. We are living in heaven and hell, caught in a cosmic battle, can't you tell? We navigate the big and the small, trying to find our place between it all. We walk through the fire, it burns, we walk on ice. Our destiny we search, we pay the price. We dance the realms of eternal strife and crawl on this hell planet. It's a fight for life or die. Immortal and mortal collide in this chaotic world. This hell planet we reside inside. We are living in pleasure and pain. Such pain. No telling when it comes, it drives you insane. You open your eyes and be what you be. Racking your brain, hoping you'll see. We navigate universal space. Oh yes. Trying so very hard to find our place. But still we walk through the fire. It burns. We walk on ice. In our destiny we search. We pay a heavy price. We dance the realms of eternal strife and crawl on this hell planet. It's a fight for life or die. Immortal and mortal collide in this chaotic world. This hell planet we reside.
tried to escape. Basic honesty he lacks, but now he's drowning in a sea of facts.
Have you ever stopped to wonder just how much your education is worth? Or perhaps the true value of your labor in society? These are questions that carry significant weight, and today we're going to delve into them. Consider the act of selling your skills to the highest bidder. You, an educated individual, have your labor as your bargaining chip. Yet the employer holds a powerful card. They know you have bills to pay, mouths to feed. So you walk into a negotiation with a figure in mind, the bare minimum you need to survive. The employer, on the other hand, is driven by profit, seeking to buy your time and labor at the lowest possible price. Now, let's think about the role of small businesses in the community. It's easy to assume the business is the lifeblood of the community, but isn't it the other way around? The community provides the customers, the employees, so remember, nothing is mined, minted, planted, harvested, manufactured, or served without the hands and minds of labor. Employers are well aware of this, hence the relentless drive towards automation. And imagine for a moment if all those who depended on their labor for a living decided to stop working for a month. What might ensue? Businesses, governments, they would all scramble trying to lure you back, even as their profits plummet. Threats would surface, artificial food shortages, the fear of homelessness, all enforced by the arm of the law. Yet simultaneously, the stock market would crash, shops would be full but devoid of customers, factories would close, even refineries could explode due to lack of maintenance. The absence of labor would bring society to its knees. But times are changing, and labor is growing wise to its power. The ultimate power lies with labor, if only they stand together. Pitting one against the other in the pursuit of cheaper labor must end. The realization that labor must stick together, not just locally, but globally, is key. Finally, let's consider education. Employers seek educated labor because their businesses require it. They are profiting from your time spent gaining an education. If employers depend on your education, shouldn't they help foot the bill? Imagine a world without education. Our civilization would crumble. Education is the bedrock of our society, and everyone, employers and labor alike, must contribute to it. Total literacy must be our ultimate goal. To summarize, the value of education and labor is profound. They are not commodities to be bought and sold. They are the pillars of our society, the lifeblood of our communities. Recognizing the power of labor and the importance of education is key to securing a fairer, more equitable society. Let's strive for total literacy and stand together in labor solidarity. Because without education and labor, society as we know it would cease to exist.
Could you imagine waking up to a world where the sun doesn't shine? A world where the birds no longer sing and the cities once bustling with life now lay in ruins? A world plunged into a nuclear winter. Sounds like the stuff of dystopian novels, doesn't it? But could such a grim reality be closer than we think? Nuclear weapons, the double-edged sword of modern warfare, have been a contentious issue ever since their conception in the mid-20th century. But why? Why do we continue to flirt with disaster, knowing full well the catastrophic destruction these weapons can unleash? The argument against nuclear weapons isn't just about the immediate consequences of a nuclear blast, the death, the destruction, the fallout. It's also about the long-term effects on our planet. The nuclear winter that would follow a large-scale nuclear exchange could plunge our world into a decades-long cold spell, disrupting food production and leading to mass starvation. This isn't speculation. It's a well-documented scientific fact. And then there's the argument from morality. Some people believe that nuclear weapons are an instrument of divine wrath, that they're a necessary evil in a world fraught with conflict. But is it right to gamble with billions of lives for the sake of fulfilling a prophecy? Is it justifiable to hold the world hostage with the threat of nuclear annihilation? The use of nuclear weapons isn't a display of strength or a deterrent. It's a sign of weakness, a testament to our inability to resolve conflicts through diplomatic means. It's a dangerous game played by power-hungry individuals who care more about their own ego than the well-being of humanity. The manufacture of nuclear weapons isn't a matter of national security. It's a lucrative business fueled by fear and propagated by those who stand to profit from it. The cost is borne by us, the common people, while the benefits are reaped by a select few. The time to act is now. The stakes have never been higher. We must demand an end to the nuclear arms race, an end to the fear-mongering, and an end to the reckless endangerment of our planet and its inhabitants. We must stand together as a united front against the use of nuclear weapons, because if we don't, the consequences could be dire. In conclusion, the question isn't whether we can afford to live in a world without nuclear weapons. The question is, can we afford not to? The choice is ours to make. The future of our planet, our species, hangs in the balance.
Why are corporations built? For the sole purpose of generating profits for shareholders, or to ensure the well-being of those who are the lifeblood of these entities, the employees? This question stirs a whirlpool of thoughts in our minds, doesn't it? Picture this: a high-ranking corporate executive ensconced in the plush comfort of his corner office, making decisions that impact hundreds, if not thousands, of lives, without a second thought for the well-being of the workforce. This, unfortunately, is not a work of fiction, but a stark reality that has prevailed since the time when common lands were seized by the elite, forcing the common man to scrape by. Take, for instance, the lives of those who toiled on merchant ships during the Age of Discovery. Their existence was deemed insignificant. Fast forward to today, and the sentiment remains largely unchanged among the elite. Consider the story of the Carrier air conditioner manufacturing plant in Indiana. A company-wide meeting was called, and employees were told that the plant was shutting down, with operations moving to Mexico. The news hit them like a ton of bricks. Shocked faces and angry voices filled the room. They were given a timeline of 3 years for the transition. Those 3 years are up. What became of those employees? The glaring omission in these narratives is the voice of the people. The common man had no say when common lands were seized, and the same holds true today. The methods may have changed, the sword replaced by financial ruin, but the end result remains the same. The common man bears the brunt of the elite's decisions. However, identifying a problem is the first step towards resolution. The challenge lies in asking the right questions. How can the common man regain his voice? How can he regain control over his life? These questions may cause frustration, but they are vital to finding solutions. Consider the corporate boardrooms where decisions are made. The CEOs sitting around the table have been voted in by stockholders. Their decisions can cause a chemical plant to explode or lead to an oil spill. The community at large suffers the consequences. The employees are stakeholders too, as much as the stockholders. They contribute their labor, their time, their skills. The solution lies in giving labor a seat at the decision-making table. When stockholders vote for their representatives, employees should also be voting for half of them. This can be facilitated by unions. When this happens, labor regains its voice. When corporations send lobbyists to the government to address their concerns, labor's voice will be heard too. This is the path towards a more equitable corporate world, where profit and employee well-being are not seen as mutually exclusive. The change may not happen overnight, but with the right questions and the right solutions, it is a possibility that can be realized. Remember, the common man only has his labor to bargain with. Let's ensure it's valued.
Benedict Arnold, a name synonymous with treason in American history, was a general during the American Revolutionary War. He began his career as a loyal servant of the colonies, but over time his loyalties shifted. He was embittered, feeling overlooked and underappreciated. This resentment led him to conspire with the British, planning to surrender the key fort at West Point. However, his plot was discovered before it could be executed. Arnold's actions stemmed from bitterness, and he betrayed his country for someone else. Fast forward to the 21st century, and we encounter another figure accused of treachery, Donald Trump. Unlike Arnold, Trump did not serve in the military, citing bone spurs as his reason for deferment. Yet, he ascended to the highest office in the land, becoming the 45th President of the United States. However, allegations of betrayal surround his presidency, particularly concerning the events of January 6, 2021. On this day, Vice President Mike Pence played a crucial role in upholding American democracy by refusing to overturn the election results in favor of Trump. Despite facing pressure and threats, Pence stood firm and fulfilled his constitutional duty. Trump's attempts to subvert the election results were seen by many as an attempt to overthrow the nation for his personal gain. Comparing these two figures, we can see distinct forms of betrayal. Arnold, for all his flaws, served his country before his loyalty wavered. He betrayed for somebody else. Trump, on the other hand, stands accused of trying to undermine the very fabric of our democracy for his personal benefit. His actions were not driven by service or loyalty to others, but by self-interest. So, to wrap up, we've explored the concept of betrayal through the lens of Benedict Arnold and Donald Trump. Arnold, though a traitor, served his country before his loyalty wavered. Trump, however, is accused of attempting to undermine democracy for his personal gain. This comparison invites us to reflect on the depths of betrayal and the motivations behind such actions. As we move forward, it's crucial to remember these lessons and strive to uphold the principles of democracy and loyalty to the greater good.
Destruction. Vitrifier, burning up their mind. No clue, all the answer leaves reason behind. Beyond power and money, preaching war, because big profits knocking at their door. Preaching more. Powerful people, they hold the key to unleash destruction for all to see. But I never asked for this deadly game, and neither did you. It's a crying shame. Rushing into oblivion's abyss, world on the edge, insanity brought this. The clock is ticking, mind slipping away. For the sin of avarice, the innocent will pay.
Can you fathom a world where the sweltering heat of the Florida sun beats down on your back, where you stand knee-deep in muddy water with shoes filled with abrasive sand? Can you imagine the sting of raw skin as you grasp a sheet of searing sheet metal in the oppressive heat, barehanded and vulnerable? The harsh reality is this: it's not a dystopian fiction, but the daily life of countless workers in Florida. Take a moment to walk in the worn-out shoes of a laborer in Jacksonville or Tampa. Picture yourself unloading semi-trailers filled with metal for a window manufacturer, sweat pouring down your face as you labor under the merciless sun. The air around you is so thick with humidity that every breath feels like a struggle. The buzz of mosquitoes and the bite of yellow flies are constant companions in your toil. This is not an easy life. It's a grueling, punishing existence, and it is the daily reality for countless workers in Florida. But now, imagine doing all of this without the basic right to water. Is this the world we're living in? Is this the Florida we want to see? Meet the workers who've lived this reality. Hear their stories. Listen to their voices as they speak of their hardships and their struggles. They're not asking for much, just the basic human right to water, to hydration, to life. They speak of the oppressive conditions, of the relentless heat and the grueling labor. They speak of the indignities they suffer, of the raw skin and the sunburns. They speak of the political leeches who drain their energy and their rights, all in the name of power and control. These are the voices of Florida's workers, the voices of men and women who've been pushed to the brink, who've stood against the odds and demanded their rights. These are the voices that demand to be heard, but they're not just voices in the wilderness. They're a call to action, a call for change, a call for better labor rights. We cannot stand by and watch our brothers and sisters suffer. We cannot turn a blind eye to the injustices and hardships they face. We must take a stand. We must demand change. So raise your voice. Stand with the workers of Florida. Demand better labor rights. Demand a future where no worker has to toil under the oppressive sun without the basic right to water. This is not just about Florida. It's about every worker, in every state, in every country. It's about human dignity. It's about basic human rights. So stand up, speak out, demand change. Because the fight for better labor rights doesn't end until every worker everywhere is treated with the dignity and respect they deserve. After all, they're not just workers, they're people, and every person deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. So let's fight for a better future for all of us, for every worker everywhere. Because the fight for better labor rights begins with you, and it won't end until every worker everywhere has the rights they deserve. So stand up, speak out, demand change. Because the fight for better labor rights is a fight for all of us.
Have you ever contemplated the intricate web that connects global corporate tax and labor rights? It's an intriguing conundrum, one that holds immense implications for the world we live in. Consider the conditions of labor in countries with high corporate tax rates. In places like Denmark, Sweden, and Belgium, where the corporate tax rates are among the highest in the world, employees enjoy robust labor protections. These protections include extensive parental leave, comprehensive healthcare, and strong safeguards against arbitrary dismissal. These countries have made a conscious choice to prioritize the well-being of their workers, and the high corporate tax rates help to fund these benefits. It's a model that has proven successful, with these countries consistently ranking among the highest in terms of quality of life and worker satisfaction. Contrast this with countries where corporate tax rates are low. In these places, labor conditions are often markedly different. Take the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, or the Bahamas, for example, where the corporate tax rates are virtually non-existent. Here, workers often face precarious employment conditions, with limited social protections and a lack of strong labor laws. There's a stark difference between the two scenarios, and it's a difference that's born out of policy choices. High corporate taxes can fund robust social protections and labor rights, while low corporate taxes often result in a race to the bottom, with workers bearing the brunt of the cost. Yet, the reality is that in our globalized world, corporations have the ability to shift their operations to wherever the tax rates are lowest. This not only deprives countries of much-needed tax revenue, but it also puts downward pressure on labor conditions as countries compete to attract businesses. This race to the bottom is a lose-lose situation for workers. It suppresses wages and undermines labor rights, both here and abroad. It's a situation that calls for a global solution, one that recognizes the inherent worth of labor, irrespective of geographical location. Imagine a world where a global minimum corporate tax is a reality, a world where corporations can't just shop around for the lowest tax rates and cheapest labor, a world where all workers, regardless of where they live, are guaranteed a minimum wage that reflects the true value of their labor. This vision is not just a pipe dream, it's a goal that's within our reach. But to make it a reality, we need to collectively raise our voices and demand change. So take a stand. Advocate for the implementation of a global minimum corporate tax and wage. Remember, labor rights are human rights, and it's time we stop corporations from undermining these rights on a global scale. Because liberty, equality, and good community are not just ideals we should strive for. They are fundamental rights that every human being should enjoy, regardless of where they live. So, let's not just dream about a more equitable world. Let's act to create it. After all, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that what truly matters?
Soon he'll be incarcerated. I hope all the brainwashed people who are afraid of being replaced come to reason soon. They complain about people saying they are stupid and then they prove it every day. Stop supporting a loser, criminal like Traitor 45. Nobody will fault you for dumping that scoundrel except all the other mindless thralls and scoundrels. Or you can continue to hand your hard-earned cash over to that snake oil salesman so he can pay lawyers to defend him while being prosecuted for his crimes. Take that money and do something for yourself or your children, or give it to someone who really needs it. I think 45 is a broke-ass debt-ridden criminal. He gets loans to pay for other past loans and uses the money to bilk ignorant people out of their money. Remember his university. I know I am writing for practically nothing because the majority of the 45 supporters are so heavily invested in the family that it would break their minds to come to the truth of the matter, which is that they are being taken for a chump. Is that what you want? That is totally weird.
Trump is not a human being. He is an inhuman being. His head is filled with air except for that dollar sign that floats around in there. His kids are the same way. Money grubbing every day in their inhuman haughty way. They try to act like they are doing a favor, but their back plans like a slaver. Anytime a word is said, there is that dollar sign in his head. He says anything, it is for effect that enriches him before you are bad as heck. I hate that guy with a passion. I hate him for making me feel hate for his social crashing. Every day is something new, another offense from the zoo crew. What does he do? Sit up all night thinking of new ways to start a fight, new ways to screw the world. Seems like the goal to throw civility in a hole. Usually I don't want anyone to die. I want bad people to change so I don't cry. I doubt that will be possible with Trump. His morality has long been in the dump. In fact, if I were king of the world, I would have his head on a platter. Truth, decency, and honor matter. But we are in the 21st century, and not like the primitive ape. I'll have to rely on a corrupted legal system, hoping justice don't escape. Trump is not a human being, he is an inhuman being. His head is filled with air except for that dollar sign that floats around in there. His kids are the same way, money grubbing every day, and they're inhuman haughty way. They try to act like they're doing a favor, but their battle plan is like a slaver. Anytime a word is said, there is a dollar sign in his head. He says anything is for an effect that enriches him, but for you are bad as heck. I hate that guy with a passion. I hate him for making me feel hate for his social crashing. Every day it is something new, another offender for the social crashing. Beggars, they got rich morals. They won't steal, they work hard in the struggle. Never settle for the evil path, living on the streets. They fight the good fight to the last, always try to be the best. They might be down and low, but their spirits never fail to impress. Rich criminals got their wealth from poor morals. No respect for social order, they steal, cheat and deceive. They play dirty in the game for everything they receive. Living in the lap of luxury, they show off what they got. In the mall department, they ain't got a lot. Beggars beg 'cause their morals are rich, they don't wanna steal, yeah. One fights for honor, the other for material gain. Two sides of a coin, two sides of pain. Two sides of pain.
Have you ever pondered the question, why is abortion a deeply personal and intimate decision governed by a patchwork quilt of laws that change from state to state? Let me share with you the story of Emma. Emma is a young woman from Mississippi, a state with some of the strictest abortion laws in the country. When she discovered she was pregnant, she faced a difficult decision. She wasn't ready to become a mother, and she didn't have the financial stability to raise a child. Unfortunately, the restrictive laws in her state left her with few options. Now consider the story of Sophie from California, a state with some of the most permissive abortion laws. Like Emma, Sophie faced an unplanned pregnancy. However, because of the laws in her state, she had access to safe and legal abortion services. 2 women, 2 states, 2 vastly different experiences. The stories of Emma and Sophie illustrate the stark contrast in abortion laws across the United States. They highlight why abortion is not a state issue, but a national one. It's about a woman's right to make decisions about her own body, a right that should not be dictated by state lines. Why then should we have 50 different sets of laws for abortion? A woman in Mississippi is affected in the same way as a woman in California when she discovers she's pregnant. The only difference is the law. This brings us to the heart of the matter. Abortion should be a federal issue. It should be governed by federal law, just like any other constitutional right. It's not about politics, it's about fundamental human rights. Furthermore, it's important to note that the anti-abortion movement is largely rooted in religious beliefs, not scientific evidence. The creation of anti-abortion laws by religiously motivated political groups is, in essence, a blending of church and state. As we reflect on these stories and the points made, it becomes clear that abortion is a national issue. It's about ensuring that every woman, regardless of where she lives, has the right to make decisions about her body. It's about separating personal beliefs from public policy. It's about upholding the constitutional rights of all citizens. As we move forward, let us remember Emma and Sophie. Their stories remind us of the importance of this issue and the impact of our laws. Let us strive for a future where every woman has the freedom to make the best decisions for her life, regardless of where she lives. And may we all consider, in our own ways, how we can contribute to this important national conversation. I hope I'm not the only one who thinks of it this way.
They stood up on stage, promising everything. With their silver tongues, a better future they sing. But behind those smiles, behind evil eyes, shadows of their past, all told with lies. They talk about change, make promises galore. They always deceive, treat us like a whore. They use us for power, and when they are done, leave us corpses rotting in the sun. No more smoke and mirrors, it's time for the truth. Enough of their lies, enough of their abuse. It's time for transparency, no more hidden agendas. Let's have 10-year background checks on all those pretenders. Ooh, yeah. They talk about change, make promises galore. They always deceive, treat us like a whore. They use us for power, and when they are done, leave us corpses rotting in the sun. No more smoke and mirrors, it's time for the truth. Enough of their lies, enough of their abuse. It's time for transparency, no more hidden agendas. Let's have 10-year background checks on all those pretenders. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. They talk about change, make promises galore. They always deceive, treat us like a whore. They use us for power, and when they are done, leave us corpses rotting in the sun. No more smoke and mirrors, it's time for the truth. Enough of their lies, enough of their abuse. It's time for transparency, no more hidden agendas. about change, make promises galore. They always deceive, treat us like a whore. They use us for power, and when they are done, leave us corpses rotting in the sun. No more smoke and mirrors, it's time for the truth. Enough of their lies, enough of their abuse. It's time for transparency, no more hidden agendas. Let's have 10-year background checks on all those pretenders. They talk about change, make promises galore. That's how they always deceive, treat us like a whore. They use us for power, and when they are done, leave us corpses rotting in the sun. Oh no, oh no. No more smoke and mirrors, it's time for the truth. They're off hidden agendas. Let's have 10-year background checks. They talk about change, make promises galore. That's how they always deceive, treat us like a whore. They use us for power, and when they are done, leave us corpses rotting in the sun. 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 No more smoke and mirrors, it's time for the truth. They're off hidden agendas. Let's have 10-year background checks on.
Can you imagine, in a future where humanity has colonized the moon or Mars, a place where a single bullet could shatter a habitat and risk everyone's life? Should the right to bear arms still hold true? This is a question that could become very real as we continue our relentless pursuit of space colonization. On one hand, advocates for unrestricted gun rights may argue that the right to bear arms is a fundamental human right, a safeguard against potential threats regardless of the environment. They may claim that this right should extend to the farthest reaches of space, to Mars City #1 and beyond. They may pose the question, does the threat of violence disappear just because we've left Earth? On the other hand, those advocating for gun control, especially in the context of space colonization, would argue that the unique and fragile environments in which we would live in space present new dangers that make firearms untenable. A single misfire or an accidental discharge could breach the protective walls of a habitat, exposing everyone within to the harsh, unforgiving vacuum of space. When weighing these arguments, it becomes clear that the risks of allowing firearms in a space colony far outweigh the perceived benefits. The potential for accidental harm, coupled with the catastrophic consequences a firearm discharge could entail in such a delicate environment, make the argument for gun control in space a compelling one. The right to bear arms, while a deeply ingrained part of some cultures on Earth, must be re-evaluated in the context of space colonization. The stakes are simply too high. In our future homes among the stars, the safety of the collective must take precedence over individual rights to weaponry. In summary, the argument pivots around the balance between individual rights and collective safety. While the right to bear arms may be seen as a fundamental human right by some, in the precarious environments of space colonies, the risk to the collective safety is too great. The conclusion, therefore, leans heavily towards the need for strict gun control measures in space. While this may seem like a distant concern, it is a conversation that we need to start today, as we take our first steps towards becoming a multi-planetary species. As we venture into the stars, we must ensure that we are prioritizing the safety and survival of our species over individual rights to weaponry. In the vast expanse of space, The right to life must unequivocally supersede the right to bear arms.
Ever wondered why trust in banks and the stock market seems about as sturdy as a cardboard castle in a rainstorm? I mean, why should a grease monkey like me, who spent his life under the hood of a car, trust the high and mighty financial sector? Well, let me break it down for you. Think about it. Banks make money by lending out the cash we trust them to hold on to. And the stock market? Once upon a time, I was a mechanic. I knew engines like the back of my hand. Gears and pistons were my playground. But the world of finance? That was as foreign to me as Mars. I didn't need a degree to tell me that the financial world was a maze of confusion, a whirlwind of jargon, and a haven for white-collar sharks. The more I observed, the more I became a skeptic. The headlines were filled with stories of financial scandals, of banks behaving badly, and the stock market's wild roller coaster ride. It's like a game of poker where only the dealer knows the rules. And I couldn't shake the feeling that this game was rigged against the common folk. It seemed like a world designed to exploit the uninformed and the unprepared. And I couldn't help but wonder, why does it have to be this way? Why can't we have a system that's simple, transparent, and trustworthy? My argument is simple. We need a Bank of the United States, a federal stock market, institutions that serve the people, not their own agendas. Imagine a bank that's just a bank. No tricky derivatives, no complex financial instruments. Just a safe place to store your hard-earned money, where it won't be gambled away on risky ventures. And a stock market that's truly representative of our nation's economy, not a playground for the wealthy elite. My proposal isn't about turning the financial world upside down. It's about leveling the playing field. It's about creating a system that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. I may have started as a mechanic, but I've become a voice for change in the financial sector. I believe that we deserve a banking system we can trust and a stock market that plays fair. And I won't stop until we get it. So, next time you're feeling like a chump in the face of the financial sector, remember, you're not alone. And if we stand together, we can change the game. Because after all, the power of the people is greater than the people in power.
Is it time to rename Dulles International Airport to the Donald J. Trump International Airport? This heated question has been sparked by a bill proposed by Representative Guy Reschenthaler of Pennsylvania. He asserted that the United States has never been greater than under the leadership of President Donald J. Trump. Such a statement has set the stage for a contentious debate that is reverberating across the nation. On one side of the argument, some staunch supporters of the former president agree wholeheartedly with Representative Reschenthaler. They argue that Donald Trump's presidency was a time of unprecedented economic growth, increased national security, and a resurgence of American pride. They believe that renaming an international airport after him is a fitting tribute to his achievements and legacy. On the flip side, opponents of the proposal argue that such a move would be a slap in the face to the democratic ideals that the United States stands for. They assert that Donald Trump's presidency was marred by divisiveness, scandal, and an unsettling disregard for the nation's institutions. These critics contend that renaming an airport after him would be a mockery of the democratic principles that the country holds dear. This opposing viewpoint has led some to propose a rather tongue-in-cheek alternative, the Anti-Fathead Bill, or Antifa for short. This proposed rule would prevent anything from being named after a person until after their death. It's a wry commentary, but it does underscore the depth of the division and the strength of the feelings on both sides. In a world that often seems to be spiraling into ever greater levels of partisanship, this debate has become a microcosm of the larger political divide. It's a stark reminder of the challenges that lie ahead as the nation grapples with its future direction. So, should Dulles International Airport be renamed as the Donald J. Trump International Airport, or should it retain its current name? Or perhaps, should there be a new rule that prevents anything from being named after a person until after their death? These are questions that require thoughtful deliberation and robust dialogue. It's a conversation that needs to take place, and it's one that every citizen should be a part of. So, weigh in with your thoughts and opinions. Get involved in the discussion. It's your country, your future, and your voice that matters.
This nightmare makes me sing sad song. I'm losing hope, I can't go on. Feels like a lifetime stuck in this place. Cheeto boys, degenerate friends, it's a disgrace. He's always slipping through the cracks while John and Jane don't feel the wax. No justice for the regular folks as the bombshells fizzle, it's a cruel joke. I'm not holding my breath anymore. I'm tired of this crap and take it no more. No, every day new twist in the plot, but it's just another bombshell that fizzles out. Friends, it's a disgrace. He said he liked to punch them in the face. He's always slipping through the cracks while John and Jane don't feel the wax. I'm not holding my breath anymore. I'm tired of this crap, can take it no more. I'm not holding my breath anymore. I'm tired of this crap, can take it no more. No, every day new twist of the plot, but it's just another bombshell that fizzles out. This nightmare makes me sing sad song. I'm losing hope, I can't go on. Feels like a lifetime stuck in this place. Cheeto boys, degenerate friends, it's a disgrace. He's always slipping through the cracks while John and Jane don't feel the wax. No justice for the regular folks as the bombshells fizzle, it's a cruel joke. I'm not holding my breath anymore. I'm tired of this crap, can take it no more. I'm not holding my breath anymore. I'm tired of this crap, can take it no more. No, every day a new twist in the plot, but it's just another bombshell that fizzles out. Cheeto boys, degenerate friends, it's a disgrace. He said he liked to punch them in the face. Cracks while John and Jane don't feel the wax. No justice for the regular folks as the bombshells fizzle, it's a cruel joke. I'm not holding my breath anymore. I'm tired of this crap, can take it no more. I'm not holding my breath anymore. I'm tired of this crap, can take it no more. No, every day a new twist in the plot, but it's just another bombshell that fizzles out. Cheeto boys, degenerate friends, it's a disgrace. Cheeto boys, degenerate friends, it's a disgrace. He said he liked to punch them in the face. He's always slipping through the cracks while John and Jane don't feel the wax. Anymore, I'm tired of this crap, can take it no more. I'm not holding my breath anymore. I'm tired of this crap, can take it no more. No, every day a new twist in the plot, but it's just another bombshell that fizzles out. Fizzles out.
Listen up, I've got a story to tell. About a stock that'll make you lose every sale. Claiming truth and transparency, it's all up for salt. But you'd have to be blind to invest in this fraud. They preach about freedom, but it's all a mirage. A platform built on hate, division, and camouflage. They sell you promises of a better tomorrow, but all you're left with is pain and sorrow. Truth so sure ain't nothing but a lie. Yes, it's scared. Don't be fooled. They ain't give a damn. Oh, no. They'll take your money, leave you in shock. Ooh, yeah. Invest in truth so sure, and your profits will drop, 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 drop. If you buy that car, it's sold by Donald Trump. He's laughing behind your back, you pitiful chump. They sell you some stock, and it drops tomorrow. Now you're poor sap left with pain and sorrow. Truth so sure ain't nothing but a flop. Yes, it's scared. Don't be fooled. They ain't give a damn. Oh, no. They'll take your money, leave you in shock. Ooh, yeah. Invest in truth so sure, and your profits will drop, 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 drop. Listen up, I got a story to tell. About a stock that'll make you lose every sale. Claiming truth and transparency, it's all a facade. But you have to be blind to invest in this fraud. They preach about freedom, but it's all a mirage. A platform built on hate, division and camouflage. They sell you promises of a better tomorrow, but all you're left with is pain and sorrow. Truth so sure ain't nothing but a flop. Yes, it's scared. Don't be fooled. They ain't give a damn. Oh, no. They'll take your money, leave you in shock. Ooh, yeah. Invest in truth so sure.
I'm just a simple man, worked hard all my life. Always been happy, working with no strife. Yeah, but the Wall Street wolves, the scheming eyes. Ooh, yeah, talking about stocks and bonds, the dirty lies. Somebody like me, trying to make ends meet, but the white-collar criminals out on every street. Ooh, yeah, ooh, yeah, they prey on the ignorant, they're lying to see. I won't be the target, oh no, I won't be naive. Oh, don't trust Wall Street wolves, don't put trust in stocks. I see the corruption and the financial shocks. Yeah, give me a bank of the USA, stop market, no deception. Something like that would get a fine reception. Oh yeah, worked hard all my life to the day I die. So why would I trust that Wall Street guy? Oh yeah, they'll go up on the dirty, crooked wall of fame. Oh Something like that would get a fine reception. Oh yeah. I'm just a simple man, worked hard all my life, always been happy, working with no strife, but the Wall Street wolves scheming eyes. Ooh yeah, talking about stocks and bonds and dirty lies. Somebody like me trying to make ends meet, but the white-collar criminals out on every street. Ooh yeah, they prey on the ignorant, they lie and deceive. I won't be their target, oh no, I won't be naive. Oh, don't trust Wall Street wolves, don't put trust in stocks. I see the corruption and the financial shocks. Yeah, give me a bank of the USA, stock market, no deception. Something like that will get a fine reception. Oh yeah, worked hard all my life to the day I die. So why would I trust that Wall Street guy? The Wall Street wolves, they ain't got no shame. They'll go on the dirty, crooked wall of fame. Oh, don't trust Wall Street wolves, don't put trust in stocks. I see the corruption and the financial shocks. Yeah, give me a bank of the USA, stock market, no deception. Something like that would get a fine reception. Oh yeah. Worked hard all my life to the day I die. So why would I trust that Wall Street guy? Ooh yeah, the Wall Street wolves, they ain't got no shame. Ooh yeah, they go up on the dirty, crooked wall of fame. Oh, don't trust Wall Street wolves, don't put trust in stocks. I've seen the corruption and the financial shocks. Yeah, give me a bank of the USA, stock market, no deception. Something like that would get a fine reception. Oh yeah. Worked hard all my life to the day I die. So why would I trust that Wall Street guy? The Wall Street wolves, they ain't got no shame. Ooh yeah, go up on the dirty, crooked wall of fame. Ooh yeah.
He's a little hands devil with a chip on his shoulder, throwing punches at judges, causing chaos, getting bolder. He's a wild child, and he thinks no one can control him. Got a mean streak, he left many people broken. Oh yeah! He's a ticking time bomb ready to explode, causing trouble, just watch as his money rolls. He's a menace, he's a narcissistic stick beast. Better lock him up, throw away the key at very least. Hey, hey, little hands troublemaker, it's time to pay. You can't go around attacking innocent people every day. Hey, hey, little hands troublemaker, you're gonna fall. You can't fake justice forever, hear the call. He's a wild child, and he thinks no one can control him. Got a mean streak, he left many people broken. He's a ticking time bomb ready to explode, causing trouble, just watch as his money rolls. He's a menace, he's a narcissistic stick beast. Better lock him up, throw away the little hands devil wants to send us ticking time bomb ready to explode, causing trouble, just watch as his mind erode. He's a menace, he's a narcissistic snake beast. Better lock him up, throw away the key at very least. Hey, hey, little hands troublemaker, it's time to pay. You can't go around attacking innocent people every day. Hey, hey, little hands troublemaker, you're gonna fall. You can't think just forever, hear the call. He's a ticking time bomb ready to explode, causing trouble, just watch as his mind erode. He's a menace, he's a narcissistic snake beast. Better lock him up, throw away the key at very least. Hey, hey, little hands troublemaker, it's time to pay. You can't go around attacking innocent people every day. Hey, hey, little hands troublemaker, you're gonna fall. You can't wait just forever, hear the call.
We are born into this world not by choice. A life laid out, a life with no voice. Some say we're owed nothing, nothing at all. But it's only greedy voices trying to stand tall. Surrounded by abundance, yet some go without. You get nothing no matter how loud you shout. Destitute souls, empty bellies, empty lives, wanting to be filled. Resources empty, yet still they're deprived, not thrilled. The wealthy thrive and the rest barely survive. The masses only want to be happy and alive. Equal rights in the earth's embrace. Every soul deserves a thriving place. Justification for equality. It's time to share, let's set our hearts free. It's time to share, let's set our hearts free. We are born, not by choice, not by choice. A life laid out with no voice. Some say we're owed nothing, we know they are wrong. That's why we stand together, sing a hopeful song. Surrounded by abundance, yet some go without. You get nothing no matter how loud you shout. Destitute souls, empty bellies, empty lives, wanting to be filled. Resources empty, yet still they're deprived, not thrilled. The wealthy thrive and the rest barely survive. The masses only want to be happy and alive. Equal rights to the earth's embrace. Every soul deserves a thriving place. gadgets and gizmos that blind our eyes. But behind the curtain of capitalist desire lies a road to riches built on exploitation's fire. They sell us cheap crap, the labor's underpaid, while we feel the system trapping ourselves in the trade. It's time to wake up, stop the ancient abuse, to a new era with fairness, no more excuse. Don't believe the propaganda, don't fall for the lie. New era socialism, their values are high. Properly paid workers create quality goods, a world built on justice the way it should. In a world of consumption, we're all mesmerized by gadgets and gizmos that blind our eyes. But behind the curtain of capitalist desire lies a road to riches built on exploitation's fire. They sell us cheap crap, the labor's underpaid, while we fuel the system trapping ourselves in the trade. It's time to wake up, stop the ancient abuse, to a new era with fairness, no more excuse. Don't believe the propaganda, don't fall for the lie. New era socialism, where values are high. Properly paid workers create quality goods, a world built on justice the way it should. In this 21st century, something's gotta change. Divided by wealth, divided by power, the gap keeps on widening hour after hour. But we won't be silenced, we won't be oppressed. It's time to stand together and demand nothing less. Rise up, let our voices be heard. In the name of equality, fighting for what's deserved. In this land of dreams, let's make justice prevail. For every man, woman, and child, let freedom set sail. In land of the free, where justice should be blind. Two tiers of justice are also one kind. The affluent pay, while the poor they pay. In this 21st century, something's gotta change. stand together, hand in hand, nothing less. Rise up, let our voices be heard. In the name of equality, fight for what's deserved. In this land of dreams, let's make justice prevail. For every man, woman, and child, let freedom set sail.
The land of opportunity where dreams are made. The story of success was, so they say, started from scratch with nothing to their name, but the hunger for power set their souls aflame. They built their empires on American soil, selling their wares to the hard-working toil. But as they grew, they lost sight of the way. The people became pawns in their profit play. Oh, America, land of broken dreams, where the rich get richer by any means. They took our jobs, our hope, and our pride, leaving us with nothing on the other side.
Has Alabama been caught in a time warp, firmly entrenched in a 14th century mindset? Is this southern state, known for its charm and hospitality, actually operating as a de facto theocracy? Today, we delve into the heart of Dixie to expose the chilling reality. Just take a moment to think about it. Imagine if the government dictated your personal choices based on their interpretation of religious text. Sounds like a dystopian novel, doesn't it? But for many Alabamians, it's their stark reality. Alabama's policies have long been influenced by a conservative interpretation of the Christian Bible, blurring the lines between church and state. This has led to a number of decisions that have profound impacts on its people, particularly women. Let's consider the case of the infamous Alabama Human Life Protection Act, passed in 2019. This law, one of the most restrictive in the United States, effectively bans all abortions, making no exceptions for cases of rape or incest. The justification: a religious belief in the sanctity of life from the moment of conception, codified into state law. And it's not just about reproductive rights. Alabama's theocratic tendencies have also resulted in a myriad of discriminatory policies. For instance, consider the state's stance on same-sex marriage. Despite the Supreme Court ruling in favor of marriage equality in 2015, Alabama's conservative lawmakers have continually sought ways to undermine this decision, citing religious beliefs to justify their actions. These are just two examples among many. The impact of these policies is far-reaching, affecting not just those who live in Alabama, but setting a dangerous precedent for other states to follow. What's particularly disconcerting is that this fusion of church and state disregards the rights and beliefs of those who do not align with Christianity. It's a blatant disregard for the principle of religious freedom, a cornerstone of the American Constitution. So what can be done about this? It's time to take a stand against these theocratic tendencies. Challenge these policies, raise your voice, use your vote, advocate for the separation of church and state. Support organizations that are fighting for change. Remember, change starts with you. The course of history has always been changed by those who refuse to accept the status quo. Be that change. Alabama, and indeed the rest of the world, needs it.
Have you ever pondered the question, does embracing Marxism mean surrendering your individual belongings? Perhaps the answer isn't as straightforward as you might think. Marxism, a socio-political and economic theory conceived by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, is often misunderstood. Many equate Marxism to the loss of personal property, but that's a common misconception. Marxism doesn't seek to seize your home, your car, or your cherished family heirloom. The core principle of Marxism revolves around the distinction between personal property and means of production. Personal property, in Marxist terms, includes the items intended for personal use and enjoyment. Examples could be your house, your furniture, your books, your clothes, and so on. Marxism doesn't advocate for the abolition of such property. On the other hand, the means of production refer to the facilities, resources, and tools used to produce goods or provide services. These include factories, farms, mines, and such. In a capitalist society, these are privately owned and controlled by a small fraction of the population, often leading to wealth disparity and social inequality. Marxism proposes that these means of production should be owned collectively by the workers who operate them. This doesn't mean the state takes over every corporation, but rather that labor is given a legitimate voice in decision-making processes, sharing power equally with stockholders. This system, known as co-determination, does not force anyone into a collective. It merely ensures that the people who depend on the success of the business for their livelihood have a say in how it's run. In essence, Marxists believe in a system where labor and stockholders, both integral to the success of a business, have equal representation. This approach aims to create a balance, preventing exploitation and promoting fairness without infringing upon personal property rights. To summarize, Marxism is not a threat to your personal property. It is a call for shared control over the means of production, ensuring that those who contribute to the success of a business have an equal say in its operations. It's about promoting fairness, reducing social inequality, and giving power back to the workers. The philosophy of Marxism is not about the abolition of personal property, but the collective ownership of the means of production. It's essential to discard old anti-Marxist propaganda and focus on understanding the true principles of this socio-economic theory. Remember, Marxism isn't about taking away your personal belongings. It's about creating a fairer society where those who labor also have a say in the fruits of their labor.
Do we ever pause and wonder what's happening to the state of our political discourse? Take, for example, the case of Marjorie Taylor Greene, a figure who has been at the center of numerous controversies. Marjorie Taylor Greene's behavior and public statements often blur the line between the audacious and the downright inappropriate. Her words, often laced with ire and contempt, have left many bewildered and questioning the standards of our political dialogue. Let's delve into some instances of her public outbursts. Greene has a track record of telling the press to take a hike in no uncertain terms, and foreign leaders have been on the receiving end of her colorful language, too. Is this an attempt to project a hardened exterior, or is there something more? Interestingly, there seems to be a segment of the population that appreciates her brash demeanor. They see it as a sign of strength, a refusal to bow down to political correctness. But is this truly strength or just an excuse for uncivil behavior? Greene's interactions with her colleagues have also raised eyebrows. She has been described as abrasive and difficult to work with, leading one to wonder how she manages to foster any sort of productive relationships within her professional sphere. Her stance on certain key issues has also been a cause for concern. She has been accused of siding with foreign adversaries, an allegation that raises serious questions about her loyalty and priorities. So, what does this all mean for us? Well, it's a wake-up call. It's a prompt to scrutinize the behavior of those who represent us. It's a reminder that words matter, that respect matters, and that our leaders should embody these values. But more than anything, it's a call to action. It's an invitation to consider the implications of Marjorie Taylor Greene's behavior, to question the kind of discourse we want in our political landscape, to ponder whether we're okay with our representatives resorting to foul language and personal attacks, or if we aspire to a higher standard of political interaction. In the end, the choice is ours. We can either accept this as the new normal, or we can demand better. We can insist on respect, on dignity, on a discourse that uplifts rather than demeans. The future of our political conversation is in our hands.
Could the very fabric of democracy be in jeopardy due to the escalating hyperpartisanship in today's politics? This is a question that lingers in the minds of many, considering the current state of affairs. Hyperpartisanship and extreme allegiance to one's own political party has reached a fever pitch, threatening the very principles upon which the nation was built. The Founding Fathers warned us of this peril, yet here we are, embroiled in a political landscape so divided, so polarized, that the very essence of democracy is at stake. Consider the case of the Speaker of the House and committee chairpersons, who, in an ideal world, would transcend party lines and steer the nation towards unity and progress. Yet we are witnessing a hyperpartisan spectacle, with leaders so entrenched in their party doctrines that they seem to have lost sight of the broader national interest. The Judiciary Committee, for instance, is chaired by a figure who has yet to pass the bar exam, turning what should be a bastion of justice into a hyperpartisan circus. This is but one example of the hyperpartisanship that is paralyzing our government, endangering our democracy, and hindering our ability to aid allies in need. It's high time we address the elephant in the room. It's not just about the hyperpartisan zealots or the committee chairpersons. It's about the system that enables, even encourages such hyperpartisanship. This is a system that has seen power and money become the driving forces behind political decisions, rather than the welfare of the people. It's a system where lies and deceit are used as tools to maintain power, and where foreign influence is seemingly tolerated. But what is the solution to this hyperpartisan quagmire? The answer lies in nonpartisan measures. It's time to heed the founders' warnings and return to the principles of nonpartisanship. Imagine a world where the Speaker of the House and committee chairpersons renounce their party affiliations and pledge to operate in a strictly nonpartisan manner. This could be the first step towards dismantling the hyperpartisan machine that threatens our democracy. In conclusion, the danger of hyperpartisanship is real and present. It's a menace that has infiltrated the very foundation of our democracy, and it's high time we take decisive action. Nonpartisan measures, such as requiring key political figures to operate without party affiliations, could be the solution we need. Remember, partisanship was never the intention of the founders. They envisioned a nation united under the banner of democracy, not divided by party lines. It's time we honor their vision and take the necessary steps to end the hyperpartisan insanity before it ends our democracy.
A common misconception about Marxism is the idea that it seeks to abolish personal property. This couldn't be further from the truth. Marxism distinguishes between personal property and private property. The former refers to consumer goods, personal belongings, and homes, the things you use in your daily life. The latter refers to the means of production, factories, farms, and other businesses that generate wealth. Marxism does not advocate for the abolition of personal property. It is concerned with the ownership of the means of production. What Marxists argue for is not the confiscation of personal property, but a shift in the ownership of the means of production. Rather than being owned by a few private individuals or corporations, Marxists propose that these means of production should be owned collectively by those who work them, the laborers. This proposal is not about taking over businesses, but about giving labor, an integral part of any successful business, a lawful voice in decision-making processes. Stockholders would still own stocks, but labor, as a key stakeholder, would also have a say in how things are run. This is a concept known as co-determination. Co-determination does not mean forced collectivization. It simply means equal representation, 50% stockholders and 50% labor representatives on the board of directors. This allows for an equitable distribution of power and decision-making, giving labor the control they deserve over their own lives and their workplaces. So, no, Marxism does not spell the end of your personal property. It does not mean the state will take over every business. It simply advocates for a more balanced and fair system, where labor has a voice and a stake in the means of production. The outdated anti-Marxist propaganda from the post-World War II era does not hold water in today's era of information. Understanding and embracing the true principles of Marxism requires a step away from these antiquated notions and towards a more informed perspective. In conclusion, Marxism does not seek to abolish personal property. It seeks to shift the ownership of the means of production from a few private individuals to the collective labor force. It calls for co-determination, giving equal representation to stockholders and labor representatives. It is time to dispel the myths and understand the true principles of Marxism. Remember, it's not about taking away what you own, it's about giving you a fair say in what you help create.
There's a fire in my heart, a raging inferno fueled by hatred, a sentiment I abhor. Yet I find myself consumed by it. This hatred, this anger, it's not born from petty disagreements or personal vendettas. No, it's a hatred born from a sense of loss, a sense of betrayal, and a sense of disillusionment. The culprits? Nazis, Confederates, MAGA, Trump, Putin, and every last Trump-loving Rust-publican thrall of degeneracy. I despise them for making me feel this way, for making me harbor such intense hatred. Allow me to share a story. You see, I used to have a sister, a vibrant, lovely soul, until she got entangled in this web of MAGA madness. This ideology, this insanity, it consumed her, turned her into a white supremacist, and drove a wedge between us. She berated me, cursed me for not joining her in this path of prejudice. That was the day I lost my sister to the clutches of this MAGA mania, a day that fuels my contempt for these perpetrators of malice. But the tale of my loss doesn't end there. My brother, another victim, claimed by the far-right frenzy. Our bond, our shared memories, all were rendered meaningless in the face of this divisive ideology. And that, my friends, is another chapter in my book of reasons to loathe these MAGA instigators. There's a phrase my late brother once shared with me, a piece of advice that has stuck with me through the years. He said, "Just because someone is related to you doesn't mean they are worth knowing." A harsh truth indeed, but a truth nonetheless. It's a painful realization, knowing that my own kin have been swept up in this whirlwind of hate. It's a wound that cuts deep, a wound that continues to fester with every passing day. I implore you, if you're caught in this storm of MAGA madness, please, I beg you, break free. I want my sister back. I want my brother back. I want to extinguish this fire of hatred that burns within me. But for that to happen, we need to stand against these forces of division, these harbingers of hate. So, let's rise, let's unite, let's reclaim the love and unity that's been stolen from us.
Ever wonder what it means when a former president suggests a bloodbath if he loses? This is the question that echoes in the minds of many today, following Trump's recent statement. Unpacking the statement, it's clear Trump is leveraging the loyalty of his followers, suggesting their willingness to step into the meat grinder for his cause. This should give us pause, not because of the threat, but because of the manipulative nature of his words. What does it say about a leader who is ready to risk the lives of his supporters for his own gain? But there's more. Trump's statement carries a dangerous assumption that right-wing extremists hold all the firepower. This, however, is nothing more than a myth. It's a perilous misconception that could incite unnecessary violence. Many on the left are just as armed. So, if there's a misconception that a bloodbath will be a one-sided affair, that's a grave miscalculation. Beyond the armed leftists, there's a more formidable force to consider. The National Guard, equipped with superior firepower, stands ready to defend the nation. So if anyone, swayed by Trump's rhetoric, decides to engage in violence, they will face not only their fellow citizens, but the full might of the US military. In essence, Trump's statement is a call to live by the sword. But as the old saying goes, those who live by the sword die by it too. The question then becomes, is it worth it? Is it worth risking your life for a man who may not even acknowledge your sacrifice? In conclusion, Trump's bloodbath statement is a manipulative call to arms, built on dangerous assumptions and false notions. It's a call that not only risks the lives of his followers, but threatens the peace of our society. It's a call that, when examined with reason and logic, reveals much about the man who made it. Remember, it's not about choosing sides or picking up arms. It's about understanding the implications of such statements and the potential danger they pose. It's about recognizing manipulation when it rears its head, and it's about making choices that value life over conflict.
What is the mystery behind Marjorie Taylor Greene's uncouth behavior? Why does she revel in the role of the political pariah, the outsider, the one who doesn't play by the rules? Is it a calculated move or a personality trait? Marjorie Taylor Greene, a congresswoman from Georgia, has made a name for herself in American politics. Not for her policy proposals or legislative achievements, but for her seemingly erratic behavior and controversial public statements. She has been quoted telling journalists to take a hike in less polite terms, and she has not shied away from telling foreign leaders where they should go. These statements might be shocking, but they are not out of character for the Congresswoman. Some might argue that Greene's behavior is a performance, a calculated move to appeal to a certain demographic. They might say that she is playing a character, the brash, no-nonsense woman who isn't afraid to speak her mind no matter the consequences. But is this really the case? Others might argue that Green's behavior is not an act. They might say that she is simply being herself, unfiltered, unapologetic and uncensored. But does this excuse her behavior? Should we accept this kind of discourse in our politics? The answer to these questions is subjective and depends on individual perspectives. However, one thing is clear: Green's behavior is not typical of a politician. It is something that sets her apart, for better or for worse. Now, it's important to note that Green's behavior has consequences. It influences the way people perceive her and, by extension, the party she represents. It can also have a tangible impact on her political career, as we've seen with her removal from committee assignments. Some might see Green's behavior as refreshing. They might appreciate her frankness, her refusal to adhere to political norms. They might see her as a breath of fresh air in a stale political landscape. Others, however, might see her behavior as inappropriate and unbecoming of a public servant. They might argue that she is setting a bad example, that she is contributing to a culture of incivility in politics. At the end of the day, it's up to the voters to decide. They are the ones who get to choose who represents them and their values. They are the ones who must weigh the pros and cons and make an informed decision. So, when the time comes to cast your vote, think about the kind of person you want representing you. Think about the kind of behavior you want to see in your politicians. And most importantly, think about the kind of future you want for your country.
Is partisanship the poison that's slowly crippling the government? A provocative question indeed, yet it's a question that begs an answer, especially in light of the recent events that have rocked the political landscape. It all started innocently enough. When the Founding Fathers warned us about the dangers of partisanship, it seemed like a distant concern, a cloud no bigger than a man's hand on the horizon. They knew that a nation divided against itself could not stand. But their warnings went unheeded. Fast forward to 2013, Senate Democrats in control of the majority decided to pull the trigger on the so-called nuclear option, a procedural move that reduced the threshold for ending debate on lower court judicial nominees to a simple majority. Then came the Republicans, regaining the majority in 2015. They took no action to consider President Barack Obama's nomination of Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court. By 2017, President Donald Trump nominated Neil Gorsuch, and Senate Republicans deployed the nuclear option to lower the cloture threshold for Supreme Court nominees to a simple majority. This led to the slim margin confirmations of Gorsuch and subsequent nominee Brett Kavanaugh. This chain of events, a tit-for-tat of partisan maneuvers, has led us to where we are today. A nation divided, with a government in disarray. But what if there were a solution? What if the Speaker of the House, instead of being a partisan position, became a nonpartisan one? A position solely focused on ensuring that the House functions in a way that serves the people and allows the legislative role to function effectively. Imagine a coalition of moderate Democrats and Republicans, fed up with the political infighting, deciding to withhold votes from a partisan speaker from either side. Instead, they insist on choosing a truly independent speaker, someone not even from within the House, to lead the institution. This isn't just a pipe dream. It's a viable solution that could be the antidote to the poison of partisanship. To recap, partisanship in the government has been a persistent issue, with key events and decisions exacerbating the problem. The Founding Fathers warned us about this, but their warnings went unheeded. Today, we face the consequences of ignoring their wisdom. However, the solution may lie in nonpartisan leadership. The question remains, will we heed the warnings this time? Or will we continue to dance around the issue, allowing the poison of partisanship to further infect our government? The choice, as always, is ours to make.
Imagine a world where political leaders prioritize people over party. A world where the Speaker of the House, the committee chairs, are not tied to any political party, but instead committed to serving the people. This is not a utopian dream, but a potential reality. one that could solve the crippling issue of partisanship that plagues our politics. To understand the current state of affairs, we must delve into the annals of history. Partisanship is not a new phenomenon. It has existed since the inception of politics, but it has certainly evolved over time. The Founding Fathers, aware of the danger of political factions, warned us of the potential for partisanship to divide us. They foresaw the threat of a divided nation, torn apart by party loyalty over national interest. Yet we chose to ignore their sage advice and now bear the brunt of their predictions. The roots of our current partisanship problem can be traced back to the Senate's decision in 2013. The Democratic majority triggered the nuclear option, reducing the threshold for ending debate on lower court judicial nominees to a simple majority. When Republicans regained the majority in 2015, they refused to consider President Barack Obama's nomination of Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court. This trend of partisan decision-making continued, leading to the confirmation of justices by slim margins. So, where does the solution lie? A promising proposition lies in changing the way we choose our speakers of the House and the role they serve. The speaker should not be a partisan position, but should focus on ensuring that the House functions in a way that serves the people. A coalition of moderate Democrats and Republicans could agree to withhold votes from a partisan speaker and insist on choosing an independent speaker, someone not even from within the House, to lead the institution. In essence, the problem of partisanship is a glaring issue that we can no longer afford to ignore. It is a problem that is tearing at the fabric of our nation and preventing our government from functioning effectively. The solution lies in the hands of the people and the political leaders. It requires a shift from party-centric politics to people-centric politics. It necessitates a change in the way we choose our leaders and the roles they serve. The Founding Fathers' warnings about the dangers of partisanship were not empty words. They were a cautionary tale, one that we ignored to our detriment. The time has come to heed their advice and take decisive action to curb the menace of partisanship. The question is, are we ready to make that change? Or will we continue to let partisanship dictate our politics? The choice, as always, lies in our hands.
Have you ever imagined a world without ice? A world where the once frozen landscapes are nothing but a distant memory, and the presence of humans is confined to artificial habitats? A scenario that seems straight out of a dystopian novel, but could, unfortunately, become our reality in a couple of centuries. Let us take a journey into this potential future. A future where global temperatures have skyrocketed due to relentless burning of fossil fuels. The ice caps have melted, revealing vast resources that were once trapped beneath the icy surface. Nations and corporations in a mad scramble compete for these newfound resources. The Antarctic alone, as per estimates, is home to over 22 trillion tons of methane trapped in ice. Think about this for a moment. What happens when these hydrocarbon reserves are burned for power? The once blue and green planet we call home could turn into a hellish landscape, unfit for human habitation. Imagine living in artificial habitats scattered around the globe, controlled by an elite few. Life as we know it would be drastically different. The freedom to breathe, to live, would be at the mercy of these elites. Picture this. A group of inhabitants in Sector 10 decide to protest against the harsh living conditions. The elites, in response, simply shut off the air supply to that sector. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? A dystopian society where global environmental catastrophes are used as a tool to enslave humanity. But this doesn't have to be our future. We have the power to change this narrative. It starts with acknowledging the reality of climate change and understanding the devastating consequences of our actions. It continues with us taking tangible steps to reduce our carbon footprint and holding corporations and governments accountable for their actions. We must embrace renewable energy sources and invest in sustainable practices. It is not only about saving our planet, it's about saving ourselves. The time for action is now. We must act to ensure that this dystopian future remains nothing more than a cautionary tale. Remember, the choices we make today will determine the world we live in tomorrow. So choose wisely. Let us strive to create a future where humanity and nature coexist in harmony, not in conflict. The power to change the future is in our hands.
Let's not let it slip away.